in previous concept, yesterday we discussed something about the what is Android tools. Yesterday we discussed something about Android. What is Android tools? In this we discussed something Android tools called what is Logcat, what is File Explorer, what is devices, what is the console. Okay, what is the trace view, what is the tree view. These all are we discussed yesterday, and at the same time we discussed for developing multiple Android versions also we discussed. Next one, this is my blog. In this blog I think I send my course content. The same course content is available here also. Okay. Next one we discuss something about the application fundamentals also. Recapping the basics. Basics is nothing but whatever Java we discussed. The same thing we discussed. Okay, that is what basics. Next one, packaging an application. Packaging an application in the sense, suppose after creating one application, how we can generate the APK. That is the mean by packaging. Okay, that is mean by packaging. We completed this. Next one, application reusability architecture. This is very important in real-time point of view. Here the meaning of application reusability architecture means, suppose assume in one class I created some methods. In another class I want to use those same methods. Then how we can use? This is very simple concept. If you have something idea about the Java, we can use. Simple, I have to create one class. In that class I will mention some methods or some constants. So whenever I want to use those constants, with the help of some class instance or with the help of the class name, I can access those resources. That is what reusability. So in real-time scenario, the reusability is very important. The reason is suppose in our daily basis we are doing very simple examples, but in real-time scenario a single class may contain hundreds lines of code. In real-time scenario a single class may contain 100 lines of code. Okay, hundreds lines of code. So in that case we have to, instead of writing the same summary, then we have to use the reusability architecture. We have to use the reusability architecture. Next, another important thing, already we discussed something about the manifest. So the manifest is, this is what application starting point. The manifest is, that is what application starting point. The use of manifest is, our Android recognize what is my application name. See, when I open my application, right click, close unrelated projects. See, already we discussed something about our manifest file. See, just I'm opening my manifest. See, our manifest simply tells what is my main package of my application, what is my application version, and what is my application name. Next one, my application supports under which device, means it supports from 8 to above anything, but mainly I'm targeting 18. Next one, this is what use SDK. Next one, inside this I can specify some, okay, later we can, inside this we can put some permissions also. Why? Because in some situations if you want to use the internet, then we have to give one permission called use permissions. That use permissions also we can mention, but later I will explain you about the use permissions. Next one is application tag. This application tag simply is after use SDK we have to put the application tag. So inside the application tag only we have to write some different activities. The purpose of the application tag, it will tell what is the name of my icon. Means while I'm showing this application, which icon I should display. While I'm showing this application, which icon? See, Android UI component. Assume this is what one icon I place it inside my drawable folder. So I can specify the icon. Next one, the name of my application. My application. See, this is the Android UI components, the browser, calculator, calendar. These are the name of my applications. So that name, okay, that name I get written inside the strings folder. Next one, theme. So what is the theme you are using? There are some there are some themes like a light theme, dark theme. There are some different themes. If you want to set default themes, then we have to use Android theme tag. So these all are tags comes under application. Inside the application, I mentioned the activity. The name of the activity, see, Android name. Simply I mentioned the activity name. The activity name is a main activity I given. Then the activity name means while I'm displaying the activity, what title you wants to show. See, when I press the Android UI components, did you observe here I'm having Android UI components the title? Okay, this is what. Suppose if I want to give the title some other thing, then simply I will go to values folder of stings.xml. Next one, suppose, so in that case what I want to go to in here, string name is test, string name is, I'm giving my variable name as title, test title. Then come to your manifest. Yes, see, here I'm going to give, what's that? Why it's not coming? TEST. Okay, sorry, not test, title. Yeah. See, now I'm running, right click, run as Android application. Now this title is changed to test title. Why? Because I given the title is Android label string at the title. The title here written test title. So after running, see, I got the name as test title. I got the name as test title. This is whatever title you want to display. Even we can remove the title also. So that is what title. Next one, the intent filter. This is very, very important. In interview point of view, they may ask what is intent filter. What is intent filter? Intent filter is nothing but it tells something about your activity. Next one, using the intent filter, we have some tags like action and category. The action represents what is your activity, means your activity should call in start or not. So inside the activity, I placed the intent filter. Intent filter, I mentioned the action tag, action Android column name, Android.intent.action.main. Means this activity will work as a main activity. Next one, when I am starting this application, this activity now it's a launcher activity. This activity will work as a launcher activity. Okay, so whenever I start this application, this activity will be called. The reason is your intent filter will decide which activity should start. So there are mainly two things. One is action and is a category. Action represents simply is it main or not. Simply in action I specified the main. In category I said the launcher. Launcher means when I starting this application I want to launch this activity only. So that is what. Next one, another activity. I register this simply. Next one, application is closed and manifest is closed. So when I run my application, my Android application, control will start from Android. Control will comes to Android manifest. In Android manifest, whatever screen you want to start, that screen you have to write here that activity name, and that activity name should contain the intent filter. The intent filter simply action name, action tag and category tag we have to specify. So these all information I specified inside the manifest file. So that is what manifest. We discussed something previously. We discussed about activity. What is activity? What is the activity class? How we can create the activity class? Next one, what is the life cycle of activity? How we can launch an activity? To launch an activity, what we have to use? For launching an activity, we have to use start activity. Next one, how we can pause or stop an activity? How do we destroy an activity? Means while I change the orientation or while I moving from back button, when I press the back button, some activity is destroyed. Next one, we discussed something about what is on create. On create means whenever I call this activity, that case on create method will be called. Next one, registering an activity. Registering an activity means assume I created. Registering an activity means assume I created one activity. Okay, but if I want to call that activity should be registered inside the manifest. That is what registering an activity. Next one is a process lifecycle. So process lifecycle is also similar to activity. Means how the lifecycle methods are executed in activity. So like that the process lifecycle means whenever your activity is not visible, okay, so simply whenever you suppose your application is not visible to the user, okay, suppose I closed my application, then what will happen? When I closed my application, simply the activity went to background. So okay, means the current application is went to background, then your application process, okay, then your application is going to the background. Okay, whenever you open the application, if Android is having some more memory, our application is won't destroy. Okay, otherwise it will destroy. See, I will tell application life cycle Android. See, activity life cycle is different and application life cycle is different. What I written here? Application life cycle. See, maybe this one is application life cycle example. See, application life cycle is also same as a activity life cycle. Let us see. The first one, whenever you created on create, then created means activity is created. After that it started. After that it resumed. So whenever you pause, you are moving, either closing or either you are moving from one activity to another activity. But here you are closing only. So when you are closing, it will goes to the paused. So paused is nothing but it's a partially visible, means it will available in background. So later on stop, and on stop means hidden. Okay, but if Android needs some memory, so that case this process will be closed. If Android needs some memory, that case this process will be closed. The process is closed means your application is destroyed. Your application will be destroyed. Okay, why? Because the reason is Android wants some memory. So that is what simply what is the life cycle, what is the processor life cycle, at the same time application also. Here one more important thing is here we have, that is what? The application class. Here there is a one class is called application. This application class is represents the entire our application object. In previously we used some method called get application context. Using the get application context, we can get the object of application. Means assume in your activity, in your project you have n number of activities and n number of some other classes, n number of something, blah blah blah. But the application having only one object for your application, means the entire classes. Means for entire application you can have only one class, one class, that is what application class. Okay, so like to displaying the toast or to display something, generally to displaying the toast, even my application is closed also, then I am able to display. That the reason is to the toast I am giving the application object, not the activity object. Why? Because the activity will be finished when I am moving from one activity to another activity, but the application will close whenever system needs some extra memory, then only the application will be closed. Okay, how we can get the application context? With the help of get application context, we can get the application object. With the help of get content method, with the help of get application context, we can get application object. Where we use the get application context object? While displaying a toast, we use it get application context object. While you displaying the toast, we use it get application context object. So this is what we discussed. At the same time, some basic GUI programming. Basic GUI programming means some fundamentals. Means what is the view hierarchy? View hierarchy, some fundamentals means what is the view hierarchy? View hierarchy is nothing but how we will display. Means if I want to display something, then what should I do? Generally to display something, what should I do? First I have to take the parent layout. Here as a parent layout, I use the linear layout or relative layout. Inside the linear layout and relative layout, I created some view. Here views is nothing but like text view or image view or some other any view. Okay, so that is what view. Next one, some more on XML layout. The more on XML layout means nothing but what is the use of layout weight, what is the use of layout weight. Next one, what is the use of layout height. Next one, what is the Android column background. Some basic tags we discussed in on XML layout. Next one, at the same time we discussed something about the text view and edit text also. We discussed about text view and edit text also. So text view and edit text already we discussed. Text view is nothing but simply if you want to display some message or some titles. In that case I will use the text view. Edit text is nothing but if I want to get some information from the user which is entered by the user. But if I want to get some information, I want to provide one input field for the user to entering some data. So that case I will use the edit text. Next one, we have something idea about the buttons. The purpose of button is what? The purpose of button is we can enter, means when I click the button we can perform something. Next one, we discuss something about the checkbox. Next, another important thing is button performs on click listener. Means button generates on click listener. Means if I want to generate some listener on the button, then I will use the on click listener on the button. At the same time, checkbox means when I check the checkbox, when I check or uncheck, I want to generate one event. When I check or uncheck, I want to generate some event. So that type of events are generated in checkbox using the which event? The event we have to use on checked change listener. So there is a one listener class for checkbox on checked change listener. Whenever you change listener, whenever you checked means either you checked or unchecked, that case on checked change listener method will be called. That case on checked change listener method will be called. Next we discuss something about radio button and radio group. Radio button and radio group. A radio button is nothing but it's around one button. Radio group is nothing but inside one radio group if you place multiple radio buttons, either 2 or 3 or whatever it may be, then if you select one radio button, then automatically the other radio button will be unselected. The other radio button will be unselected. That is what radio group. That is what radio group. Next one is a toggle button. So a toggle button is like a switch on off button. Toggle button is nothing but a on off button. So this toggle button also performs the event on checked listener. Okay, this toggle button also performs the listener on checked listener. Next one, already we discussed something about the image view. If you want to display some image, then I will use the image view. Next one is a rating bar. Means if I want to provide some rating, then I will use the rating bar. Next we discuss something about the layout management. Layout management means how we can display one layout instead of another layout, inside another layout, how we can display one more layout. Those all are we discussed with the help in the layout management. Okay. Next one as a background. Background means what is the parent here. So as a background we use some different layouts. What is the linear layout? So the linear layout is it's a layout which is used to if I place any components inside the linear layout, it will arrange one by another either horizontally or vertically. But how can I specify horizontally or vertically? With the help of layout orientation, I can decide whether the linear layout should display in horizontal or vertical. I can display, okay, linear layout should display horizontal or vertical. So that is what layout orientation. Next one, the very important is the layout gravity. So layout gravity in the sense, suppose I created one layout, inside that layout I create one more layout, but the layout I want to display which means whether the layout I want to display top of the layout or bottom of the layout or left of the layout or right of the layout. So if I want to perform that, then I have to use the layout gravity. We discussed about the weight also. Next one, the table layout. The purpose of the table layout is to display your components as a rows and columns. Table layout means it's a combination of some different rows and columns. It's a table layout means it's a combination of some different rows and columns. Next one, how we to manage the width. How we can be managing the width. So we can manage the width with the help of some layout weight attribute. That's so it depends on your scenario only. But in yesterday I explained something about how to support the multiple layout width. So if it is a smartphone, I create one layout folder, and in that layout folder I displayed one button. If it is a smartphone, I given the size is 200 dp. If it is a tablet, I given as a 300 dp. If it is a 10 inches tablet, I given as a 400 dp. Means depend on screen sizes, I can manage the width. Depends on the screen size, I can manage the width. Next one, relative layout. So if it is a linear layout, automatically it will arrange the components one after another one. If it is a relative layout, if it is a linear layout, automatically it will arrange the components one after another one, either horizontally or vertically. But if it is a relative layout, explicitly we have to say the components we have to display either top or bottom or left or right. Those attributes we have to specify if it is a relative layout. The advantage of the relative layout is we can assume I want to create one button. The button I want to display center of the layout. See, in yesterday class I explained this one. See, this is what one layout. Inside the layout only I displayed the one button, but how I placed this button, the center of this one. Even if I change the orientation also, the button will come in the center. But how it's possible? The reason is here I taken, see layout, I taken one activity underscore main.xml. See, Relative layout. Here I used one tag called Android column layout underscore center in parent. True means what this button will appear center of my layout. This button will appear center of my layout. So that is what relative layout. That is what relative layout means. The relative layout occupies the match parent and match parent. The relative layout occupies match parent and match parent. But inside the relative layout I taken one button, but the button place I decided center of the screen with the help of which tag? With the help of layout underscore center in parent true. With the help of layout underscore center in parent true tag. Next one, that is what next one, another important thing is the scroll view. Another important thing is the scroll view. Scroll view means this is here we called as vertical scroll view. Scroll view here we called as vertical scroll view. The purpose of the scroll view is means we can scroll our component. We can scroll our component. Suppose see, I'm going to give one small demo on scroll view. Now what I want to do here, below of the smart screen button I want to display 5 or 6 buttons below of the smart screen button. So that case, first I have to give the ID Android column ID equals to at the rate of plus ID by BTN CENTR center. Next one, I'm taking one linear layout Android column layout underscore width I'm taking the match parent Android column layout underscore height I'm taking wrap content Android column orientation I'm taking vertical means inside the linear layout I taken the inside the relative layout I'll take in one linear layout. Inside that linear layout I'm going to place some different buttons Android column layout underscore width match parent Android column layout underscore height wrap content Android column text UTT1 button 1 Android column layout underscore margin 20 dp. Now this is what button 1, control C, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, control A, control shift F, formatting. So here what will happen here, I taken one relative layout and centrally I taken one button. Below of the button I want to take this linear. See, without, okay, first I'm running, right click, okay, run as. See, here I'm not able to view where, what is that called? I'm not able to view any buttons. I don't know, actually we have to display some buttons. Yeah, see, these what buttons. Actually, whatever buttons you created, the buttons are overriding. Okay, means the buttons is starting from here too. But what I want to do here, this relative linear layout, Android column layout underscore layout underscore below at the rate of ID by BTN center. Means below of this button I create one linear layout. I'm running. See, smart screens. Here I'm able to view 2 buttons only. If I change the orientation, even I am not able to view the single button also. The reason is it's occupying that much of space. I'm giving some space on top. I'm giving some space. So what I want to do here, okay. So see, another important thing is, if it is a portrait mode, it's showing the buttons. But if it is a landscape mode, it's not showing the buttons. Anybody can guess what is the reason for this? Hello?
Because it's big. Because
Sorry?
it's not fitting in.
Huh? See, in portrait mode, I'm able to view the buttons.
Yeah.
But in landscape mode, I'm not able to view the buttons. What is the reason?
Because it's not fitting in. Because you gave a command saying that it should be below the smart screen.
Not Mamta, can you answer? Mamta, Pranavi and
the
Roshan.
distance between the buttons.
Pranavi and Roshan. Any idea?
There is particular distance between the two buttons.
No, Pranavi. Roshan there?
In this,
See, while asking any question, don't think in a high range. So think in very low. See, the layout and layout LAN. Okay. So while I'm in layout landscape mode, it will take the XML from layout LAN, but I modified in layout folder only. Got my point? Hello?
okay.
See, I changed the modifications in this layout folder only.
Yes, Shravan.
Yeah. See, actually I did modifications in activity_main.xml of layout folder, but I did not implement anything in layout LAN folder. But when I change the orientation, it will take the layout from which folder?
LAN.
Layout LAN folder. Okay. So that is all. But in real time scenario, we should not give that type of things. Okay. Suppose, see, so I placed the layout, then I'm able to view two buttons only. That case, what we have to do here? Go to your activity main.xml of your layout. Here I'm taking one linear layout now. So just take one scroll view. Scroll view, Control X. Means I taken one scroll view. Inside that scroll view, I placed one linear layout. Inside that scroll view, I placed one linear layout. This is very, very important. See, I taken one relative layout and taken one button. Later I taken one scroll view. That scroll view should be below of the button. That scroll view should be below of the button. Okay. Okay. Now inside the scroll view, I taken the linear layout. So that case, these buttons will scroll. I'm running here. That case, see, are you observe? I'm able to scroll or not? I'm able to scroll. Is it clear? What is the scroll view?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that is one scroll view. At the same time, there is one more option called horizontal scroll view. There is one more option, horizontal scroll view. Horizontal scroll view, I giving a width as a match parent, height as a wrap content. The same buttons I want to take here. Linear layout. Control V, but the orientation I will change as horizontal. See what will happen. Did you observe? Am I able to scroll or not? Okay, I'm able to scroll horizontally. I'm able to scroll horizontally. So this is what horizontal scroll view. This is what horizontal scroll view. See what I did here.
But why the buttons are above the smart screen?
Why buttons are?
Buttons are above the smart screen.
I didn't get you.
The buttons should be below the smart screen, right?
No. See, relative layout. Later, after relative, I taken one horizontal scroll view.
Okay, immediately. Okay, immediately.
Okay, so that is what horizontal scroll view. Inside the horizontal scroll view, I taken one linear layout. Okay, but I taken one button. Below of the button, I taken scroll view. So this is what horizontal scroll view. This is what vertical scroll view. This is what horizontal scroll view. This is what vertical scroll view. Okay, so here I use an horizontal scroll view and vertical scroll view. Is it clear? Horizontal scroll view or vertical scroll view, or any doubts in this? Okay.
It's clear.
Okay. Next, another important thing is we discuss something about the resources. Here, resources is nothing but whatever we are viewing inside the RES folder of your application. Whatever we are viewing. So that is what resources. That is what resources. See here, horizontal scroll view ID I wants to give as Android column ID equals to @ of plus ID by HSCROLL, control S, control C. Okay, here I'm taking ASPIN spinner. I think Android column ID equals to at the rate of plus ID by SPINN here. I think I expected this question from you, Shravan, how we can display the drop down button, but no one is asked this question. I don't know what is the reason. Layout underscore with match parent Android column layout underscore height wrap content Android column layout underscore below of at the rate of ID by SQL. Means this spinner I want to display below of the horizontal scroll view. This spinner I want to display below of the horizontal scroll view. Okay, it's not visible. So here what I want to do here, go to values, go to strings, just let's see. Here I'm having one string array. I'm having one string array and name I'm giving my students. Here just open control C, control V. So first one Apurva, Mamata, Vijay, Roshan, Pranavi, Vishnu, see there, assume I place something. Okay, here my students is my array name. My students is my array name. Okay, at the same time, string name equals to T. My students are given. Okay, here my prompt is one string variable and the my students is one array I declare inside the strings.xml. Now go to your activity main.xml. Inside of your spinner Android column entries at the rate of array my students. So what will happen here? Okay, that is what entry Android column prompt at the rate of string by my prompt. Simply I'm going to run Android column UI components. See, where is my spinner? Okay, maybe the scroll view width. See, the horizontal scroll view width okay, but height I given as a match parent. So that's why it's occupying entire screen. Now height I given as a wrap content. See, this is what. Did you observe here having one spinner? You got one spinner. This is what spinner. This is what spinner. Okay. So here we call, generally it's called as drop down view. This is what spinner. When I click the spinner, I'm able to view the data which I selected. I'm able to view the data. At the same time, inside the spinner, I can put one more thing, Android column spinner mode dialog. So spinner mode dialog in the sense, the spinner now it will appear as a dialog. Means when I click the spinner, did you observe here I got a dialog? Okay, this next one here I got my prompt also. This is what. So I will show you the difference between control C, spinner to the prompt I am giving as drop down. Okay, but this one I want to display below of where I want to do that below of spinner. The second spinner I want to display below of the spinner. Okay, see, this is what first one is a dialog. The second one is a spinner. The second one is a spinner. Okay, so these are some different types of spinners only one spinner, but here I given the spinner style, sorry, input as a dialog, but here I given spinner mode as a drop down. We are given spinner mode as a drop down. So that is what spinners. Another important thing is I want to get the selected value from the spinner. I want to get the selected value from the spinner. Here I am having two spinners, the spinner and spinner 2. We are having two spinners. So now I want to get those values. So that case, what I am going to do here, private spinn spinner msp1 msp2. Assume the spinner 1 and spinner 2, and msp1 equals to spinner find u by id r dot id dot spinner, control C, spinner 2 msp2. That is what. Now if you want to set some listener on the spinner, msp1 dot set on item selected listener, means spinner performs on item selected listener of this. At the same time msp2 also I am setting on item of this. Next, simply click here. Let your activity implement the on item selected listener. Next one, add on implemented methods. See, whenever you selected any item from your spinner, then case this on item selected method will be called. If your spinner, if you did not selected any method, then on nothing selected method will be called. So what I am going to do here, if arg0 double equals to msp1, do something else. If arg0 double equals to msp2, do something. So I want to get the spinner selected value, msp dot get selected item dot toString. Here simply what I want to do here, arg0 dot get selected item string yes value, in the sense selected value. I want to display message as toast dot make text get application context msp1 clicker value plus s value, the duration toast dot length short to dot show, control C. If I click msp2, then msp2. See, here important thing is they may ask some questions. What is the which listener perform the spinner? So spinner generate on item selected listener. Simply this will call whenever you selected your item on your spinner, on item selected listener will be called. See, applied. So when I change msp1 clicker value Apurva initially, if I change the value Vijay, then msp1 clicker value is Vijay. Suppose I am changing second spinner value to Roshan. Now I got msp clicker value was Roshan. Okay, so that is what simply some events on spinner. Simply some events on spinner. Okay, is it clear what is the spinner, what is the horizontal list view, what is the vertical list view?